Hello. Next topic is ideal transformer. So, an ideal transformer is an imaginary transformer which has the following properties. So, for the analysis purpose, we assume the ideal transformer. So, there will be the no winding resistance. That is, we use a copper winding. So, in that copper winding conductor, there will be the resistance present in actual practical condition. But in ideal condition, there will be the no winding resistance, that is in primary and secondary windings have zero resistance, and no leakage flux, that is the same flux links both the windings. That is, this means that the if there is a generation of flux, that 100% flux is linked to the secondary winding. So there is a no leakage in the transformer, and there will be the no iron loss, that is eddy current and hysteresis losses are assumed to be zero in the core, and zero magnetizing current, that is core has infinite permeability and zero reluctance, that so that the zero magnetizing current is required for establishing the requisite amount of flux in the core. So practical transformer have none of this property, but its operation is very close to an ideal transformer. So consider an ideal transformer on no load. That is, we consider these all these conditions we have seen in previous slides, and the secondary side will be open. That is, there is a no load connected to the secondary winding side. So that is, secondary is open circuited as shown in figure. So under such condition, the primary is simply a coil of pure inductance. As we already discussed in ideal transformer, there is a no leakage, there is a no leakage flux, but there is a also no resistance present in this winding. So this winding is we taken granted as a pure inductance. So when alternating voltage V1 is applied to the primary side, it draws a small magnetizing current Im which lags behind the applied voltage by 90 degrees, because this is coil is a pure inductance. So in pure inductive circuit, the current lags the voltage by of angle 90 degree. So when alternating voltage V1 is applied to the primary, it draws a small magnetizing current Im which lags behind the applied voltage by 90 degree. So this alternating current Im produces an alternating flux phi which is proportional to and in phase with it. So that flux phi and current Im is in phase with respect to each other, and lags behind the applied voltage by 90 degree. So the alternating flux phi links both the windings and induces EMF E1 in the primary and EMF E2 in the secondary. That is, this flux phi links this with primary winding and induces EMF E1, and same flux is again linked and induces EMF E2. The primary EMF even is at every instant equal to and in opposition to V1 according to the Lenz law. So both EMF E1 and E2 lags behind the flux phi by 90 degree, but their magnitude depends upon the number of primary and secondary turns. So we can able to draw a phasor diagram according to this condition, that is triidal transformer on no load. So as applied voltage V1, and as it is considered as a coil, inductive coil, so the current Im lags the applied voltage by an angle of 90 degree, and Im produces a flux which is in phase with this current. So the phi and Im is shown in this same direction. And I am linked, that flux is linked with the secondary winding and primary winding, and that induced EMF is lags this current by an angle 90 degrees. So this EMF E1 and E2 lags the current IM by 90 degrees. Since the flux is common to both, so it is taken as a reference phasor. So we take as a reference phasor as a flux part. The primary EMF E1 and secondary EMF E2 lag behind the flux by 90 degree. So keep in mind that E1 and E2 are in phase, but E1 is equal to V1. That is, the value magnitude of V1 and E1 will be same, but 180 degree out of phase with it. Next is EMF equation of a transformer. So consider an alternating voltage V1 of frequency F is applied to the primary. As alternating voltage is sinusoidal in nature, so sinusoidal flux phi produced by the primary presented as phi is equal to phi m sin omega t, where phi m is a maximum flux. The instantaneous EMF E1, instantaneous EMF is at particular instant of time. What will be the induced EMF that we can written as the instantaneous EMF E1 induced in the primary is E1 is equal to minus N1 d by dt pi m sin omega t. That is according to the Faraday's law, that is E is equal to minus N d pi by dt. So by putting this value phi, that is phi, and minus sign indicates the Lenz's law. So pi will be constant because this quantity is with respect to time. So only sine omega t will be derived. So derivative of sine omega t is cos omega t. So and derivative of again that omega t function is omega. So minus omega n1 phi m cos omega t, and by putting the value of omega, that is 2 pi n, so minus 2 pi n, 2 pi f, so minus 2 pi f n1 pi m cos omega t, and we can return the cos omega t by the trigonometric identity such as sine omega t minus 90, because the flux EMF voltage applied is sinusoidal, so induced EMF will be also sinusoidal. So we return in this sinusoidal function. That is the final equation is E1 is equal to instantaneous EMF E1 is equal to 2 pi f n1 phi m sin omega t minus 90. So from above equation, it is clear that maximum value of induced EMF in the primary, that is maximum value of induced EMF, that is this value. So that is EM1. M is maximum value 1 in primary side. So 2 pi f n1 pi. So from equation 1, it is clear that E1 induced in the primary, that is E1 induced in the primary, lags the flux by 90 degree, because sine omega t minus 90 minus sign indicates lag, and angle is 90 degree. So likewise EMF B2 induced in the secondary lags behind the flux phi by 90. So thus maximum value voltage value is EM1 is equal to 2 pi f n1 phi. If we have to calculate RMS value, so we have a basic formula of RMS, that is maximum value divided by root 2. So RMS value of E1 of the primary EMF is E1 is equal to EM1 divided by root 2. By putting this value, so 2 pi divided by root 2 is 4.44. So E1 is equal to 4.44 F N1. Similarly, we can calculate E2 is equal to 4.44 F N2 pi. So in ideal transformer, E1 is equal to V1, that is primary applied voltage is equal to primary induced voltage, and second E2 is equal to E2, that is second E2 secondary induced voltage is equal to secondary output voltage. This is EMF equation of transformer. This is EMF equation of transformer. Next is voltage and current transformation ratios. So as we have already EMF equation of transformer, that is E1 is equal to 4.44 F N1 5 and E2 is equal to 4.44 F N2 5. So from about two equations we can get, that is V2 by V1 is equal to E2 by E1 is equal to N2 by N1 is equal to. So how will, by, suppose this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. So equation 1 divided by equation 2 will be E2 is equal to 4.44 E2 by E1 is equal to 4.44 F into 5M and divided by F N1 5. So 4.44 F5 will be constant. Same value, so that will be cancelled. So we can get E2 by E1 is equal to N2 by N1. So that relation is we taken as a K. So the, as in ideal transform, E2 is equal to V2, E1 is equal to V1. So we can write as a V2 by V1 is equal to E2 by E1 is equal to N2 by N1 is equal to K. So the constant K is called voltage transformation ratio. So for step up transformer, if we have to step up the voltage or design the step up transformer, so V2 will be greater than V1 or voltage transformation ratio, that is K is greater than 1. So V2 is equal to KV1. So in order to have secondary voltage greater, then K should be the greater than 1. For step down transformer, so secondary voltage V2 will be less than V1 or voltage transformation ratio will be, the K is less than 1. And for isolation transformer, that is that both number of turns ratio should will be same, that is A is equal to 1. So for for an idea, in an ideal transformer, the losses are negligible. So the volt ampere input, that is voltage into current, that is power input to the primary, and volt ampere output from the secondary can be same. That is, as losses are negligible. So if we applied a certain power of to the primary side, then that whole power will be transferred to the secondary side, as we consider the losses are negligible and zero. So output VA is equal to input VA. So output VA, what will be the V2 I2 and input VA is V2. So V2, so I2 by I1 is equal to V1 by V2. So we already have a relation, that is V2 by V1, E2 by E1, N2 by N1 is equal to K. So in this case, reverse V1 by V2, E1 by E2, N1 by N2 is equal to 1 by K. So primary and secondary currents are inversely proportional to their respective turns. That is I2 is inversely proportional to the N2. But V2 and N2 is directly proportional to the with respect to each. So in next lecture, we will see the practical transform. Thank you.